This creature looks like a wrinkled thumb with teeth. It lives underground in complete darkness. It feels almost no pain. Cancer basically ignores it. And scientists just confirmed it might be aging backwards. Meet the naked mole rat, and once you hear what this animal can do, you will never look at it the same way again. Naked mole rats are small, hairless, burrowing rodents native to the dry grasslands of East Africa, places like Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia. They spend their entire lives underground in elaborate tunnel systems, never seeing sunlight, never feeling a breeze. On the surface, they look like something a biology teacher made up to scare students. But underneath that wrinkled exterior is one of the most scientifically extraordinary animals on the entire planet. Let's start with something that sounds simple, but is genuinely wild. Most rodents their size, think mice, gerbils, small rats, live maybe 2 to 5 years. That's just how rodent biology works. Fast metabolism, fast aging, fast everything. But naked mole rats? They routinely live past 30 years. Some have been documented living past 37 years in captivity. That is not a typo. 37 years. That's like a golden retriever living to be 150. The same animal, essentially the same body size, but an almost incomprehensibly longer lifespan. So what's actually going on? Here's where the biology gets mind-bending. In almost every mammal on Earth, including you and me, there's a biological law called Gompertz law. Basically, it says that after you reach reproductive maturity, your odds of dying each year roughly double every several years. You get older, your cells wear out, your immune system weakens, and the risk of death climbs steadily. It is considered one of the most reliable rules in all of biology. It applies to humans, to mice, to cats, to whales. It applies to basically everything with a heartbeat. Except naked mole rats. A 2018 study published in the journal eLife analyzed mortality data from over 3,000 naked mole rats, and found that their risk of dying does not meaningfully increase as they age. At 2 years old, at 10 years old, at 25 years old, statistically, roughly the same chance of dying on any given day. Scientists literally could not find the aging curve. They were the first mammal ever discovered to defy this law. Let that land for a second. A law of biology. That applies to every other mammal. And these little underground wrinkle monsters just ignored it. Now here's where it gets even stranger. Naked mole rats almost never get cancer. And when scientists say almost never, they mean it. In decades of research and thousands of individuals studied, spontaneous cancer has been observed only an extremely small number of times. Compare that to mice, where cancer is practically expected in older individuals. Why? Part of the answer seems to be a special sugar molecule called high molecular mass hyaluronan, let's just call it HMH. Naked mole rat cells are absolutely packed with this stuff, far more than any other animal studied. And researchers believe it creates a kind of dense, sticky cellular environment that prevents cells from growing out of control. Tumor cells need space to divide and spread. HMH essentially clogs up that space. It's like trying to start a fire in a room full of wet sand. The conditions just don't support it. And then there's pain. Or rather, the lack of it. Naked mole rats are missing a neurotransmitter, called substance P, which plays a crucial role in transmitting pain signals in mammals. Specifically, they don't respond to the kind of burning, acidic pain caused by things like chili peppers or bee venom. Their skin actually doesn't register that category of sensation. Scientists think this is an adaptation to their underground lifestyle, where carbon dioxide levels in the tunnels can get extremely high, making the air acidic. An animal that feels acid pain in that environment would be in constant agony. So over millions of years, evolution essentially switched that channel off. They also have a fascinating relationship with oxygen. Most mammals, including humans, start experiencing serious brain damage after just a few minutes without oxygen. Naked mole rats can survive up to 18 minutes of complete oxygen deprivation without any brain damage at all. How? When oxygen runs out, their brains switch fuel sources, from glucose to fructose, a sugar that can be metabolized without oxygen. It's essentially an emergency backup power system that no other mammal is known to have. Imagine your car switching from gasoline to a completely different fuel type the moment the tank ran dry. That's what's happening in their brain chemistry. Okay. Now we've reached the part that made actual scientists stop and go quiet for a moment. A study published in 2024 added a stunning new chapter to the naked mole rat story. Researchers studying gene expression, basically, which genes are switched on or off in cells, found something genuinely unprecedented. In most mammals, there are molecular markers in your DNA called epigenetic clocks. These clocks essentially track biological age. As you get older, your epigenetic patterns change in predictable ways, and scientists can read your biological age almost like reading the rings of a tree. In naked mole rats, these clocks appear to move at a nearly negligible rate. But that's not the jaw-dropping part. Some researchers studying these animals have observed that older naked mole rats actually show gene expression patterns more similar to younger individuals than to their own middle-aged counterparts. The cellular machinery, instead of declining with age the way it does in every other mammal we've ever studied, appears to be maintaining, and in some measurements, partially reversing, biological age markers over time. This is not the same as a human fountain of youth. It doesn't mean they never die. But it does mean their biology is doing something that we previously thought was biologically impossible in mammals. And scientists are now racing to understand exactly how. The reason this matters beyond just the naked mole rat. Because if we can understand the specific molecular mechanisms that allow this animal to suppress cancer, defy aging curves, and potentially reverse epigenetic markers, we may be looking at the biological blueprint for entirely new approaches to age-related diseases in humans. We're talking about Alzheimer's, cancer, cardiovascular disease, the conditions that end most human lives. The naked mole rat isn't just a weird animal. It might be the most important animal in aging research alive today. And all of this is happening inside a creature that looks like a forgotten prop from a low-budget science fiction movie, living underground in the dark, building complex social colonies with a queen, workers, and soldiers, the structure more like a bee colony than any other mammal. It can move its two front teeth independently of each other, like chopsticks, to dig through soil. It is cold-blooded in practice, behaving more like a reptile than a mammal in how it regulates body temperature. And it communicates using dozens of distinct vocalizations specific to each colony, a kind of dialect that researchers can actually tell apart. Every single thing about this animal is a plot twist. And the deeper scientists look, the more impossible it gets. If that completely rewired how you think about biology, wait until you hear about the animal that can regenerate entire organs from scratch, including its heart. Drop a comment right now telling me which fact hit you the hardest. Was it the cancer immunity? The aging curve that doesn't exist? Or the thing about biological age reversing? And if you want the weird stuff every single week, subscribe, because we are just getting started.